Now, what about money and alms? Let's reflect on chapters 8 and 9. First of all, in chapter 2 of Joy of the Gospel, Pope Francis expands on the theme of money, quite extensively actually. This matches the theme of chapter 8 in the earlier rule. Francis of Assisi begins his chapter with citations from the scriptures. Watch, beware, and again, guard yourselves. That's how he introduces the topic of money. Pope Francis begins chapter 2 in his Joy of the Gospel in the very same manner. About money, he writes, beware of factors about our work which can restrain or weaken our gospel imperative. He adds, we must distinguish clearly what might be fruit of the kingdom of God from what runs counter to God's plan. The Pope sees so much money used for evil, an evil that actually kills people. A structure of profits to benefit only a few excludes the masses from a just share to meet their own manifest necessity. In this economic inequality, the Pope writes, the powerful with money making more money actually feed on the powerless, leaving even governments impotent to serve the common good of all. He writes that money has become the worship of the golden calf, and this is alive in our worship of money. The use of money for power and possession, he writes, makes us incapable of compassion for those excluded from the economic system. And in this case, money rules rather than serves. And Pope Francis calls this the new idolatry. St. Francis calls it the vanity of vanities. One who accumulates money beyond necessity, Francis writes, is like Judas, a betrayer of Christ. Both Francis and Francis argue the use of money must be carefully discerned so that it assists rather than condemns those on the wayside or the throwaways, that is, the poor, the powerless, the beggars, as Pope Francis strongly emphasizes. In both cases, they may beg for the poor, but may not use money for filthy gain. And so the Pope says he must beg for the poor. He writes, he is obliged in the name of Christ to remind everyone that the rich must help the poor. This means solidarity with the poor. Otherwise, as Francis writes, money has no more value than the dust we trample underfoot.